protests across the United States are growing louder as demonstrators challenge the policies and actions of President Donald Trump. In Washington, D.C., large crowds filled the streets, chanting slogans and ringing church bells in unity. The scene showed a nation deeply divided, with citizens openly voicing their opposition to the president's approach to power. In Missouri, protests reached the state capitol, while at the U.S. Open, Trump made an appearance, the first sitting president to do so in more than 2 decades. The reception was far from warm, as boos echoed through the stadium, showing just how mixed public opinion has become, even in sports arenas. In Chicago, anger erupted over the president's use of federal forces. Demonstrators carried signs opposing immigration raids and calling for Trump's removal. From above, aerial views showed massive groups rallying under banners that read, "Trump must go." The state's Democratic governor accused the president of using a tactic often seen in authoritarian regimes, stirring unrest by deploying federal agents, only to justify further crackdowns. Critics argue that while immigration enforcement is a legitimate responsibility, the methods being used have gone beyond normal practice. The Supreme Court, now heavily leaning conservative, has supported several of Trump's controversial moves. In a recent 6-3 ruling, the court allowed Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, to resume roving raids, which had been halted by lower courts. The ruling also gave Trump the power to remove a Federal Trade Commission commissioner without clear cause, a step many see as expanding presidential authority. These decisions raise questions about racial profiling, as many immigrants fear being targeted based on their appearance or language. Legal experts note that such practices often conflict with constitutional protections, yet the court has allowed them to continue. This has left many Americans worried about the balance of power and the protection of civil rights. Despite low approval ratings and widespread opposition, Trump continues to receive support from the Supreme Court on key issues. Many observers say this fast tracking of decisions in his favor is unusual, as the court often moves slowly. The urgency shown in these rulings suggests a willingness to back the president even as protests intensify nationwide. Justice Amy Coney Barrett, one of Trump's appointees, recently said she does not believe the country is in a constitutional crisis. Her comments raised eyebrows, as critics argue that the very definition of such a crisis is when the system's guardrails fail to protect citizens from overreach. Legal scholars warn that ignoring signs of imbalance could allow serious threats to democracy to grow unchecked. For now, Americans are left with 2 realities. On the streets, an energized movement against Trump's policies, and in the courts, a series of rulings that strengthen his hand. The clash between public opinion and judicial power is becoming one of the defining stories of this presidency, leaving the nation to question how far its institutions will bend under pressure.